This week on Louisiana Sportsman TV, Captain Charlie Thomason will be hitting Trinasses during a falling tide for redfish and sheepshead. Greg Hackney will be showing his tips and tricks for pond bass fishing, and Chef Nathan Richard will be cooking up barbecued pork crackling nachos. Come go with us.
Hey guys, Ruffin here, coming to you from our new VIP room here at Bowie Outfitters. Today I want to talk to you about Springfield's new Hellcat Ultra Subcompact 9mm pistol. The Hellcat is a 9mm pistol with an 11-round flush fit magazine and a 13-round extended magazine. It comes in 4 models, black and FDE, non-optics cut, and optics cut. With an optics cut pistol, you'll be able to mount a small red dot to the top of the pistol. It also has features a U-notch rear sight and a front sight tritium night sight. So come by Bowie Outfitters today and check them out.
On this segment of Louisiana Sportsman TV, Captain Charlie Thomason will show how he targets inshore species by fishing a falling tide at the mouth of a marsh drain. Whether you call it a ditch, drain, trinasse, or something else, Captain Charlie knows that these spots are a great way to produce fish on a falling tide.
Oh, there he is, right by the boat. Now, I'm gonna tell y'all, this fish here, I didn't even know he hit it because he hit it on the drop right when I threw out. Man, look at that. Awesome. Beautiful fish. Golly. And now, if you look at this fish, how he's rolling around in the water and everything, our water temperatures are increasing and decreasing every day. And what's happening with that is at this time of year, when that water's falling out and coming up, remember that water back in those little ditches and trinasses, that water's warmer than the water that's out in these big canals and these big bayous. So they want to sit there. Their metabolism will rise, they'll feed more, and let me tell you, they'll get a lot more aggressive because this fish right here, he's really cold. I mean, he's not freezing, but he's cool compared to what we have right now in the surroundings. So this is just an awesome, another fish on just a jig head with a live shrimp. I'm gonna show you how to rig it up just right so you can do this. All right, everybody, there's a proper way to rig these shrimp. It may seem a little unconventional, but I promise you it works really well. A lot of times when you have white shrimp, they're really soft. So what you have to do, you have to take that shrimp and go right at the base of the tail, go into the shrimp, go all the way up until it hits the straight shank of the hook. Once that happens, that's when you peel it out, have that hook exposed, and that allows the shrimp, he can just jump and pop and look as natural as he wants to while that's sitting on the bottom like this. And the fish love it that way, and it's just a great way to rig a shrimp. A lot of times it keeps them alive a lot longer than hooking them through the horn. Oh, look at that. What is this? Oh, sheephead. All right, that's another species right here. Now, sheephead, a lot of people, we joke around about it, with our chartering service. We don't usually keep sheephead just for the reason they're really a pain to clean for us. But I'm gonna tell you, great table fare, and the smaller ones like this one, I'm gonna tell you, you can really get a good little fillet off of them, and they work out just great for frying. All right, now, I really wanna explain what I'm looking for when we're out here. This is a main bayou that's coming out. It's anywhere along the northern Gulf Coast, the East Coast, the West Coast. Some people call them creeks, some people call them bayous. But what it is, it's the main channel that's coming out. And then what's happening is, we had flood tides come in last night, push the water up in here. Then, got daylight, warmed up. Now all that water with our falling tide now is coming out of this ditch. It's going along the flat and down this little channel and going into the main bayou. That water temperature is a lot. I mean, I'm telling you, it'll be like 10 or 15 degrees warmer because that water back in the marsh, it's only that deep. So the water heats up really quick with the dark bottom. All that bait and everything gets pulled out. All of our predator fish, redfish, sheephead, speckled trout, drum, they're all hanging right in front of that thing. And as all that bait comes to them, they're eating it, and what you're doing is you're making this bait on this jig head look so natural coming through. They don't see anything but the shrimp, and they eat it. I'm telling y'all, this right here is the key to the success of that type of concept. All right, oh, here he comes, little one, I think. Yeah, small little red. That might have been what was hitting me. I'm not gonna kid y'all. This little fish, he's got as many shrimp as he wants. He's got about 3 of them in it. He got me good, but not this time. I got him. That's a great thing. You just never know what you're gonna catch. I mean, we may catch a flounder, a speckled trout, any species, because what this is like a strike zone. This is an area where the fish wanna huddle up. It's a great place for them to feed, warm water, everything. You can kind of see bait fish moving around. That is telling us that this is a great spot. Now, I know you're saying, well, you know, Captain Charlie, how can I find a spot like this? Best thing to do, pull out a map, get on Google Earth, and you look at the areas that you fish. Find places that these little bitty skinny places, I mean, that's only about maybe 5 to 7 feet wide, that little bitty ditch, and it goes winding back, and it's got all these little things that are pockets and ponds and stuff that pour out. You find those little things, it'll take a little time. You'll find out that, like, I know there's a flat on that side, then it gets a little deeper, then it comes back up and gets a flat here. In that little deep channel that pours out into the big one, that's where the fish are gonna hold. And after the experience of doing it a few times, you're gonna find that you're gonna find out that little spot that's perfect for those fish to hold in where you can catch them. Let's get another shrimp. Oh yeah. Now if this doesn't get your blood going, I don't know what will. Now I'm gonna tell you, oh, let's see, going around. Oh, he got in my power pole. There he goes, another sheephead. And wow, he's so green. Look how pretty that fish is. That is so cool, look at his face. It's so beautiful, wow. Almost looks like an exotic fish. That's really cool. All right, now, I'm gonna tell y'all, when you're out here and you're trying to do this technique, I'm gonna tell you, position your boat just like I have mine. Most people will want to position out in the middle, but it's 25 feet deep out there. It'd be really hard to anchor up. You could use your trolling motor. Uh-oh, watch out. You could use your trolling motor and anchor. But if you put your boat up against the bank, right where the ledge comes, I mean, literally, it's a foot right there. It comes out, it's about 7 feet here. I'm power poled down, and then out there, it's about 20 foot. And what it is, they're gonna be on that little drop, that little ledge where that ditch comes out. You wanna put your boat up on the bank, fishing parallel to the bank, pulling your bait with the current so it looks natural, and that is the proper way to do it. If you can figure that out, I'm telling you, these kind of honey holes like this will work all year long and catch you fish.
The Blue Ice Pack's part of the Chill and Brew series. Now this may be one of the most popular ones because everyone likes a cold beer. If you're heading out to a tailgate and you need to pack up 2 cases of beer, this is gonna keep it cold all day or until they're gone. Now this works great on the boat. If you're gonna go out and have a day where you need to pack a lot of drinks, this is really what's gonna keep it right at that above freezing temperature. The Chill and Brew series is also good for keeping ice extended. If you wanna put this in with your regular ice, it'll keep it cold longer. So these are good for drinks, waters, sodas, and beer.
Shell employees and their families enjoying our Louisiana sportsman's paradise. Louisiana is where we live, and we're proud to call it home. Shell is the rhythm of Louisiana.
It's that time of year, CCA Star Tournament time.
We might have a star winner, folks!
Don't miss your chance for more categories, more prizes, and more smiles. Young and old, there's a division for everyone. You can win a truck, RV, boat, and much more. Sign up today for a chance to become an early bird winner. The fun starts Memorial Day weekend. Visit CCA Star to get your ticket today.
Basically what we got going on today is a special treat. This is the way I learned to bass fish. You know, fishing in ponds, small lakes, you know. There are a lot of people out there that don't have a boat, you know, and they spend their time backpacking around and fishing in creeks and small bodies of water. And you know, it's a funny thing, the first bass I can ever remember catching, I caught on a Zebco 33 with a chartreuse spinnerbait. And it was about a 2.5 pounder, and I remember how vividly still in my mind how that thing fought. You know, a small body of water like we have here, this is more accessible to more people than big bodies of water. And you know, fishing from the bank, it's just as fun as fishing in a boat. You know, one thing to think about when you are fishing around and fishing small bodies of water or smaller lures. You know, typically, especially pond bass, you know, the forage base is stuff that lives around the pond, little minnows, bluegill. I just caught that one on a shaky head. You know, it's a funny thing, like right at my house in Gonzales, there's you know, roughly about a 30-acre lake at Lamar Dixon. And the fishing is really good there. And I go over there with Luke and Sarah, and I take a wacky worm and just walk around the pond and, you know, and really catch them. But always, I like small baits better, you know, when you're pond fishing like this, you know, I'm gonna throw a shaky head, like little crankbaits, little spinner baits, little buzz baits, a frog. Just depends on what kind of pond, you know, you got to fish in or small lake. And you know, that's the cool thing about pond fishing, using light tackle. You know, even a small bass is fun. But like I said, just a good rule to remember is that you want to get more bites fishing on a small body of water. A smaller lures will get bites, and you know, that's the thing about it. These small lures will catch a big bass too. They won't just catch a little bass. But honestly, a plastic worm is the most universal bass lure to ever be made. It doesn't matter if you're in New York, Louisiana, or where you are. And you know, basically, this is just a jig head. That's an 1/8 ounce jig head with a hook. And I'm Texas rigging with the jig head. So I come down just like you would with a worm hook, pop the hook out, and then spin the head. And there you go. And the cool thing about using that jig head eliminates, you know, I got my weight, my hook, everything right there together. And a lot of times you'll find that, you know, there are a lot of ponds around the country, the water's clear like it is here, and it just, something about that little worm, you know, it's cold this morning and they just can't resist that little worm. And you know, the other thing is, not a better way to get a young person into fishing than fishing on the pond. There are days out there in that boat of sitting all day that you can burn a kid out. Sometimes you catch them out in the middle, you know, depending on the time of the year, and then sometimes you just throw right down, you know, you parallel the banks. I mean, it's just fun fishing, but it's just always a good rule of thumb. A plastic worm, a floating minnow style bait, a topwater bait, and like I said, a spinner bait, you know, especially if if you fishing in ponds that have colored water. Pond bass love a spinner bait. And you never know what you're gonna catch in a pond. I mean, a little sac-a-lait. And it's good not to let your pond get overpopulated with these. Big bass. Oh yeah, I got them schooling now. You know, I'm not against using live bait in a pond either. I have been known to catch a little bluegill, which is like the prime forage for bass. Oh. I'm not sure what that was, but it was mean. I mean, it was mean. And the cool thing about ponds, you know, catfish, sac-a-lait, bluegill, catfish, more catfish. And in Louisiana, we have a very unique fish called a shoepick that also likes to frequent some of these small bodies of water. That's a trophy, you catch a shoepick. You know, one thing that you have to be careful if you own your own pond, and you know, a lot of people have their own lake, or you know, they buy a piece of property and they build a half acre to, you know, I think like the one we're fishing today is like maybe 8 acres, you know, which is big. It's like basically they're not ponds, they're small lakes. But one thing that happens in a pond is you have to manage it, almost like, you know, managing cattle. That you know, fish are very prolific, and you take a lake this size. I've heard the numbers, they're insane, but like 1 3-pound largemouth bass will have like 300 babies. So realistically, if you think about that, one fish spawning in this pond will completely repopulate it again. So, you know, I've fished in ponds before where you just catch tons and tons of little ones where they've not been kept. So it's good, and you know, it's good to get with a local biologist. Or, you know, there are pond managers out there, you know, people that are experts that you can call. They, you know, they even go to the point where, depending on how your finances are, I mean, they'll come out and shock your lake and tell you how many pounds you need to take out. And, you know, there's people out there that have numbers for that, exactly what you should do to keep a pond in check. And, you know, bass are predators. They don't know to stop eating. So when you have a lot of bass in a pond, or a lot of catfish or sac-a-lait, they're all predator fish. So it takes a lot of forage for them. So just like this pond, you know, you can tell it has a huge fish population. And with these smaller fish, they're very good table fare. And again, I feel like when you're keeping a few of them out, you're helping the resource, you're helping the fish that are left, you know, to have more to eat. Wow, he's almost too big to swing. Ooh. You know, this is the deal. This is a pretty fish. This is definitely the size fish that you want to catch and you want to keep in your pond. So by taking those smaller fish out, you're just giving this fish a chance to grow and get bigger. But man, just a beautiful bass. And that's the cool thing about little baits on ponds. You catch big bass with little baits. Now that's the fun thing about light tackle. You just get such a fight out of, it's just, I guess you'd say I've aged like a fine wine. But my love for fishing is as strong as it ever was. And I do have a nice rig sitting there too if I need to go to the bigger pond. But basically set up, this is my little all-purpose spinning rod, 610. You don't need I just don't find a need for having an extremely long spinning rod. Some 8-pound test, a Lew's Custom Pro spinning reel. And this setup, I can throw little crankbaits, little buzz baits, worms. Really, honestly, for pond fishing, a shaky head and a wacky rig. And basically all the wacky rig is, especially if these fish are spawning and right up on the bank, is just I'd be hooking that worm in the middle. But it's a little colder and these fish are down on the bottom, and that shaky head's hard to beat. And again, you throw that by a 6-pounder, he will bite it.
Hey guys, Ryan Terrio coming at you from Bowie Outfitters over here in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, a full-service Sitka dealer. Listen guys, I'm standing here in this section and it is literally wall to wall with this awesome camouflage in Sitka. I have used this for a few years now. I can remember specifically walking to my deer stand, sweating my butt off. I get up in the stand and all of a sudden it's freezing cold, right? So what do? I got to shed the stuff that was breathable. Now I'll put on the cold weather Sitka gear that they have. It's unbelievable, a great product over here. Bowie Outfitters, 8630 Perkins Road. And remember, new shipments are always coming in. Bowie Outfitters is your one-stop shop for Sitka gear. Duck, deer, any type of hunting, come check them out at Bowie Outfitters, 8630 Perkins Road.
I'm pro angler Andy Montgomery. I've been making my living with Strike King products for a long time. So when they showed me the new Tour Grade line, I was all in. I knew I could trust it. What I didn't know was how easy it was to use. With the spooling tool and the prepaid envelope to recycle your old line included in every single box. Not only is it the best line on the market, it gives you the easiest fishing experience possible. Find out more at StrikeKing.com.
We rise at 4 a.m., driven by an overwhelming passion. We're driven by the beasts that roam the waters of this great country. We don't think about stress, or bills, or Monday. We're fishermen, always ready. And as for the gear we hold, trust is everything. Never again should you sacrifice strength for style. The Team Lew's Pro TI Speed Spool. Built for anything you set the hook on.
As sportsmen, we seek out the very best craftsmanship in many aspects of what we do. We take great pride in the work we put in because we want the very best results possible. Those same philosophies are how we do things at Smith Shanklin Sosa Law Firm. We craft each case to the individual needs of our client, and we take pride in our work to protect your rights. To schedule a free consultation, just give us a call at 225-223-6333.
Hey folks, it's me again, Chef Nathan Richard, and we're in the kitchen at Cuvée Wine Bar and Bistro in Thibodaux, Louisiana. And today we're doing one of my favorite all-time snacks. It's a nachos with a twist, right? But we put in a little bit of pulled pork. Instead of tortillas or corn chips, we're doing cracklings on ours, pork cracklings, right? You can make your own cracklings, gratons, whatever you want to use. Or hey, you at the store picking up some bait, you got a bag of cracklings with you, no big deal. All right, all these ingredients are 9 out of 10 are probably going to be found in your camp closet or at your house, whatever you want. We got some pickled jalapenos, pickled banana peppers, some of my favorite barbecue sauce that we make, and then a little bit of Velveeta cheese that we're going to melt down to make the cheese sauce. We got our pork steaks here. We'll season them with a little bit of our pork rub. This is a buddy of mine's rub out of Chicago that he makes. Again, you can get that seasoning on that real good. Try not to make a big mess, but we'll see. Again, you can roast them, barbecue them, smoke them, do whatever you want. Today we're gonna go ahead and smoke them. I got my smoker out back lit, about 225 degrees. We're gonna smoke it with a little bit of pecan, a little bit of white oak for roughly about 6 hours to get these pork steaks nice and smoky, nice and tender. All right, we got our smoker going. Again, this is not a big fancy smoker, something I just picked up at Academy. Very, very simple. You got your firebox, and you got your smoke chamber right here. Again, I use pecan and white oak because that's what I like to use. You got mesquite, oak, use whatever you want. This is what I like to use. We'll pop these steaks in there. We'll go ahead and close that door. Let the smoke do the magic. All right, we'll go ahead and check on them. Ooh, yeah, that's what we want, right there. Look at that. That's gonna be nice and tender right there. Perfect, that's what we want. We're looking for a nice little smoke ring in there, a nice pink color into that. Again, I'm using some freshly store-bought stuff from our local butcher, but if you got a wild pig, wild boar, cut off that back leg, use some sections of that, use some of that tenderloin or the back strap if you want. Whatever you got, as long as you smoke it up, season it right, I promise you it won't go wrong on that. So we'll go ahead and finish pulling this apart a little bit, take that apart. Then we're gonna mix it with some barbecue sauce to keep it nice and wet. So I had some hot barbecue sauce on the stove. I just went ahead, put some of that pulled pork, mixed that into that, just to give it some more flavoring in there. We'll take our pork skins. Again, you want to use your duck cracklings, all that skin you've been saving, cracklings, pork skins, whatever you want to call them, feel free to use them. We'll add some pork. And again, this is one of those dishes that clean out your cooler if you got it, you know. You put whatever toppings you want. I like jalapenos on mine. Banana peppers. You can put fresh cut tomatoes if you want. Sour cream if you want. Again, it's whatever you have in your pantry that you want to use. All right, here we got a little bit of Vita cheese that we had on the stove melting. If you have some of that stuff in a jar, melted cheese in a jar, go for it, use it. Again, make it your own if you want. Look at that. And then we'll just add a little bit more barbecue sauce right on top. And there you have it. Barbecue pulled pork nachos made from cracklings. Come by and see us soon.